So congratulations for starting the journey. I hope you can feel it, but I'm pretty excited. Look, this is a partnership between us. I am your coach. I've been the coach of many leaders, some of whom you've actually heard of. But for the next 21 sessions, I'm all yours. My desire is very focused and very simple. It's your action, your winning, as however you define winning. It's your dreams. I want your dreams to come true with and through those around you. So as an intro to this week, I want to start with an overview of what's going to be happening this week. Week one is going to be about a new leadership model, finding and sharing your purpose, your mission, that's actually going to guide you through your leadership. It's going to be focused on balancing diverse stakeholders, knowing who your actual team is. Now, this is, as I said before, this is going to be different than you've thought about before. Remember, you can still download the optional workbook. The workbook includes summaries of the concepts that we've discussed each and every day, examples and guiding questions to help you complete your daily missions. But let's get into today. Today, I'm going to talk about the challenging times that we have and are finding ourselves in. By the end, you'll see how critical it is for us to transform the way we lead. The opportunity is to transform and meet the way that the world actually works today and leave behind a number of the old principles and mindsets and actions and practices that have been holding us down around leadership that just don't work today. We're in changing times. Now, I mentioned this in the warm-up, but it's important enough to cover just a bit of it again, and then we'll move on. But in case some of you didn't catch it, I want you to make sure you do. There was a time that the world was coming out of a crisis. Months of social distancing seemed to be coming to an end, and the protests around the world to eradicate systemic racism were quieting, and it seemed that leaders were finally awakening. Thank goodness. And at that time, I had heard people making plans to, as they said in their words, go back to work. And while others were excited, I was unsettled. This was really disturbing to me. Why? Why? Because I had spent 30 years working so hard to awaken leaders to a changing world and helping them to see new ways of leading. And at a time, at this inflection point, it was not a time to go back. It was time to go forward to work. And I felt that the nature of humanity, the nature of the momentum of humanity might lapse back into ways that were once comfortable, even though it wasn't working for many, many years. This course was designed to serve you and serve you as a leader in this new era of leadership that has been solidifying for years and has finally come to roost. So here we go. The world we live in today is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Does that sound right? Well, that was actually said by Warren Bennis, an early leadership pioneer and a friend of mine, who first said that this actual words in 1987. But from there, it's only heated up. And it's only heated up exponentially ever since. And our response as leaders cannot be to just do more and more of the same. This is the new normal, and it's rising in volatility, uncertainty, and complexity and ambiguity. And I'll add a few: exponentialism and speed. I mean, I'm talking about overwhelm and speed like light speed. And at the same time, the responsibility of us as leaders to truly take care of ourselves and those around us. Empathy, well-being, even vulnerability have become earmarks of the modern era leader. So as I said, those words described the world in 1987. And the challenge has been that we have been trying to meet the changing world as leaders for decades. And the way we've been doing it was wrong. And we've been holding on by our fingertips. I have this visual image of individuals holding on, clinging desperately by our fingertips to old ways of work that weren't working. And to respond and keep up, we just tried to do what? Do more. No, it's not about doing more. It's about doing different. The world has never been so abundant. I really mean that. The world has never been so abundant. Technology and science has unleashed unlimited possibilities. And at the same time, leaders are still frustrated, fatigued, and fractured. We need new work roles in a new work world. We need constant, radical transformation in the way we lead. The amount of change is exponential. Exponential change, extraordinary is now the ordinary. Your response needs to be extraordinary. The pace of change is radical. Radical adaptability is called for. What I want you to recognize is that a leader, the social contracts have to change too. We'll be spending a good bit of time on this. Authority, deference, those were social contracts of old leadership, and they are dead. We are entering a world where the individual has just had enough. I mean, we saw this crescendo. Think about it, from Me Too to working from home productively and defying the traditional belief that we had to be watched in order to be productive. Enough with fighting inside of companies across divisions and silos. Enough. And we're absolutely putting our foot down to social injustice inside and outside of companies. We demand more in our lives and from our companies and from our leaders to whom we have given so much of our time. It's time to rise up. Now, I'm not talking about force or rebellion, just the opposite. It's time to rise up together, to co-elevate, to go higher together. As I mentioned before, it's a word that I created that you'll be hearing a lot of from me. Co-elevate, going higher together. Remember, we've been headed in this direction for decades, and it's now solidified. And leaders who are about to respond and able to respond will stand out in this period of inflection, while others will still struggle with old ways of work. Others still clinging to their fingertips, wanting to go back to a way that wasn't working while the rest of us are going to be going forward. Now, this is major. What I'm about to share is totally critical to leadership today. Leadership is not an individual activity. As it was with traditional leadership, when an individual leader was leading individuals, leadership is not aimed at individuals. It's collective. It's about us. And it's best described, I feel, by leaders leading a movement of change. I mentioned that I created a word that meets this form of leadership, co-elevation, going higher together. It's not about you lifting others up even. It's about the leaders seeking and enlisting others to lift each other up, including ourselves as leaders. This is a collective. We as leaders of change across the aisles, not within our silos, need to reach across and out to find and meet real transformation, real possibility. For you to achieve your dreams, there's a broad group of individuals that you need to enlist and co-create with. Leaders serve teams of teams. Leaders serve teams of teams that they are a member of. I hope you're seeing this by now. The old models of leadership are challenged, not hierarchy. We need inclusion. Today, we work in networks, not org charts. We lead from networks. Peer-to-peer support is crucial in that regard. Holacracy even is being discussed. We need to stop fighting for control or more authority. That is not leadership. It's never enough. Leading without authority is the key. Your job as a great leader is the facilitation of collaboration, of co-creation, of going higher. And don't forget about one big trend. You know, the gig workers, individuals who show up and work independently. You know, there's tons of part-time folks signing up to enlist with us when they want, on their terms. How are we going to lead those individuals as well? And the key really is enlistment. People choose every day if they want to follow. It's voluntary. Leadership is also humanistic. Empathy, vulnerability, intimacy. Wow, that's a lot. Now, I want you to let that all soak in. It is a new work world, and I want you to be leading for this new work world. So what's your mission today? Okay, we've talked about the old modes of leadership and how the world has changed. I want you to ground that. I want you to land that. We've gone over the effects of increased volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We've outlined some of the impacts that this has had on leadership today. Now, here's what I'd like you to do. I would like you to help those around you understand and do the same. Have a conversation with your team, the people that you work with, or just the people that you work closely around. Talk about what has changed in the work world and what has potentially changed in leadership. How have leaders changed? And maybe how have leaders failed to change to meet the challenges of this new work world? That's the conversation. Now, this is going to be an incredible journey to come, an incredible journey in life, an incredible journey in the next 21 days. Don't forget your tribe. Have this conversation within your tribe. And I promise you're going to be ready to meet these challenges we've just been talking about. I'll see you tomorrow.